All right, welcome aboard with Dean Kirk as we enter the top 10 of my fantasy playlist of February 13, 2022. And just to give you a sneak preview, got some great BPMs coming up. Some of them charting on the BPM charts, and got some great pop records that I want to share with you that I think's got hit potential, that should be hits. You know the score, and got a headbanger, headbanger, that's the word, headbanger. You don't hear headbanger that much anymore. That's something from back in the big 80s, baby. Big hair, big everything, big banging record and the top 5 of my fantasy playlist, and hip-hop record too that's coming up. But right now, a show tune of sorts. You don't hear it that much on the radio. This is different. This is definitely a different record. We don't talk about Bruno at number 10, up 3 from number 13 on my fantasy playlist, and it's on its way to number 1 on my fantasy playlist. It's gone to number 1 in several countries already. And we don't talk about Bruno. It's from the movie Encanto. I believe that's how you pronounce it. To be honest with you, I'm not that familiar with the movie, except I know it's a computer animated movie, and it's been just blew up. It's very popular, and the song, quite taken with the song when I first heard it on Spotify a few months ago and put it on my fantasy playlist. Got another song off that soundtrack too that's on my fantasy playlist, but not in the top 40. But will be putting it in the top 40. We don't talk about Bruno. It's about a missing uncle, a character named Bruno Matrical. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Had to look it up online, and that's the pronunciation I picked up online. And I'm assuming that you probably know a lot more about the movie and about the song than I do. I'll tell you what little I know about it. This Bruno, he's capable of magical powers. He's got the gift of prophecy. He can predict the future. The only problem is that when he predicts the future, it's always negative. It causes misfortune for other members of his family. Thus, he's like the black sheep of the family. Taboo talking about Bruno, so we just don't talk about Bruno. But the movie, the song, we don't talk about Bruno. It is the brainchild, and God, I tell you, I did some research, a little bit of research on this fellow right here who created it, and he's had a hell of a career so far. It's just absolutely amazing. His name is Lin-Manuel Miranda. He made his Broadway debut with a play called In the Heights back in 2008. He directed it. He starred in it. And he got a Tony for it. Tony for Best Musical and Best Original Score. First time around. When you get a reward like that, talk about rocket fuel for a career. It's no longer a sprint. You're in orbit now. Another Broadway play, Hamilton, in 2015, based on Alexander Hamilton, prominent American history, historical figure. He read a biography about Alexander Hamilton around 2009, which inspired him to do this play. Alexander Hamilton, who was aide-de-camp or an aide to General George Washington in 1777, and before that he was an artillery officer during the New York and New Jersey campaigns. Later became first Treasury Secretary under President George Washington from 1789 through 1795, responsible for the creation of the Bank of the United States. Alexander Hamilton, in this play, Hamilton, nominated. Boy, it got accolades like you wouldn't believe. Sure did. This is an amazing achievement. Nominated for 16 Tony Awards. Got 11 Tony Awards. 11 out of 16. Got something else too. Pulitzer Prize for Drama. Picked up an interesting tidbit about Miranda. He made his debut as a film director of a film. If I got it right, could have swore I got it. I think I got it online. A film called Tick, Tick, Boom. This was in 2021. Tick, Tick, Boom, which was, if I remember correctly, was a title of a Hives record back in 2004, Rockin' Hives record. So I don't know if it's about that song, maybe not, but that was kind of a coincidence right there. And talk about the alchemy of the record itself. We don't talk about Bruno. It's a gumbo. It's a gumbo seasoned with dance, pop, hip-hop, Cuban folk, with a generous heaping of Broadway. Like the Drifters once sang, on Broadway. Broadway all over the place. I mean, simmering. This whole gumbo simmering over a cha-cha-cha backbeat. And it's backbeating all over the world. Top 5 in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100 here in the States. Probably a lot of that from sales of the album. Double platinum. Went double platinum here in the United States. Over 2 million sales, I believe, or something. And by the time you watch this video, whether it's a month from now or whether it's 5 years or 10 years from now, it'll probably exceed that by a great amount right there. Well over 2 million. In England, oh boy, this is amazing. In England, we don't talk about Bruno, debuted at number 66. Number 66 on the British singles charts. The next week, it rocketed to number 4. Then, that's the second week. Then, 4th week, it went to number 1 in England and stayed at the summit for 7 weeks. And we're talking against intense competition from ballads, hip-hop records, some dance records. I mean, this is amazing. This is just one massive, astounding achievement. Also went to number 1 in Ireland, too. Well, that's it, my friend. All that's got to be said about this song. We don't talk about Bruno. It's on its way to number 1 on my fantasy playlist. You know it. You know the score. At number 10, fantasy playlist, February 13th, 2022. We don't talk about Bruno. This is Dean Kirk signing off.